Good afternoon, everyone. Let's dive deep into today's simulation, Autonomous Enterprise Orchestrating Agentic AI Ecosystem. We are witnessing a significant change in how enterprises are making decisions. Do you know how many decisions a human makes in a day? Any guesses? Okay, little more? Okay. Actually, an average human will make 35 decisions in a day. Now let's 35,000 decisions in a day. Sorry. Let's assume that a large enterprise is making millions of decisions on operational and strategic points in a day. So, right, given this level of decision making, we are witnessing a significant change that agentic AI systems are going to make autonomous decisions. Very soon, 50% of the enterprise decisions are going to be made by the autonomous agents. So we are witnessing that significant scale now. Today, we are going to discuss about how are we going to build a system which will help us to make right decisions. So joining me today are Prakash, who is our Chief Technology Officer. He is going to help us in designing the agentic AI system. Ramana, who is our Chief Strategy Officer, who is also going to define the strategy for our organization. And Ashrith, who is our Chief Data and AI Officer, he is going to define the governance for our agentic AI system. As you know, that enterprises are becoming so big, there are a lot of processes within an enterprise. Some of these processes have 50 to 100 steps in the ecosystem. So when you have multiple steps in a process, you can't monitor each step individually. So we are in a reflection point that how can we build solutions which can work autonomously, still we have control in place. So I will hand it over to Ramana.
So Vijay hasn't introduced himself. He'll be the CEO of this particular company, where we have this business simulation. Now I request Vijay to give us a strategic vision and the outcomes that he's expecting out of this scenario.
Thanks, Ramana. So as you have seen that we have multiple processes, and each of these processes have multiple steps in place. So today, what is happening is that we are facing a challenge in terms of reviewing the output produced by systems, where our people are getting the review fatigue. At the same time, there are scenarios where we are witnessing that people are rubber stamping the output instead of really actually validating. Right, that's another scenario where we are facing the challenges. The third scenario is that when you are passing the control from agent to a human, how are you passing the right context so that they can make a right decision? So as a CEO of this company, I would like to see that how can we make decisions much faster. At the same time, how can we bring control and compliance into the system?
Yeah. As the CTO of this organization, having understood what Vijay, the CEO, has given the message on the vision, what we are planning, as my role as a CTO is to, agentic AI gives you complete autonomy. It can make decisions automatically, or it can also follow decisions, but it is both good as well as dangerous. In especially dealing with these 35 million decisions a day, if take an example of a healthcare claims processing, millions of claims are processed every week. In that, if there are some mistakes, it could have costly effects. So that's the reason, as a CTO, my prime concern is on controlling that, having proper controls placed on this autonomy that provided by the agentic AI. So my approach is mainly you have to come up with architecture that has multiple layers and also addresses the guardrails that are required to ensure that it is not completely autonomous without control. So mainly, if you look at three layers are very mandatory. First one, you have the agent layer. So the agent layer is nothing but specific agents who focus on specific tasks, specialized tasks. In the example I gave on the claims processing, one agent could be extracting the data from the patient, what he filled in the form. One agent could connect to the EHR systems, policy portals, and then extract information for validation. Another agent could be checking whether the reimbursement is the claim is due, it's not fraudulent, it is really a legal claim. So those kind of different specialized tasks can be done by agents. So in this case, it could be like hundreds of agents working on specific tasks. And the next layer is important, which is the orchestration layer. Because you have hundreds of agents spanning across performing autonomous work, that orchestration layer provides the necessary interaction between these agents, managing the priorities, the sequences, passing the output from one agent to another agent, making sure they all run in one central platform. So that is the orchestration layer. And finally, there is the most important control layer. So this control layer is where we need to make sure every decision this AI agent is making is auditable, is explainable, and can be monitored. So these three are the fundamental to this architecture, where you have adequate controls to ensure that the agentic AI doesn't go rogue. So that is on the part of the architecture. The three more steps we need to look at. One is on the digital guideline you need to include. Like you have to have the agents say that what kind of processes in place we need to have, so that what is the agent supposed to do, what it is not supposed to do. That has to be clearly defined. There should be an adaptive policy for that. And then observability is a very important thing, that you need to have a dashboard where you can look at the model's drift, you can look at where there are anomalies and where there are biases and other things. You can use tools from Microsoft, Oracle, Google for addressing those kind of issues. So these are some of the guardrails that we can use.
So thank you, Prakash. I think, so Ramana, over to you, right? So let's assume a scenario that if human makes a single incorrect decision, we can revert it quickly. When you have multiple autonomous agents making a decision, and if it is creating a chaos at an enterprise level, how do you handle that scenario? What should be our strategy to reduce that risk?
Can you go back to the earlier slide, please? Look at this. It says individual decisions average 35,000 remotely. Enterprise scale, millions of decisions being done on machine. And you have an autonomous loop of 15% of daily work decisions. Now, Prakash has given us his say on the architecture of the agents, right? Now, I would like to question him, saying that out of this 15% of daily work decisions that are being made by the agents, which type of decisions are being made? And he has not spoken about the human in loop, right? Human in loop is very, very important for any agent to be successful. Otherwise, agents will become a rogue. Like, we have an example in 2001 where flash crash happened due to the inappropriate algorithm. There was no intent to create fraud. There's nothing, no bad intention. But because the algorithm has not worked properly, there was a huge crash and several millions of dollars have been lost. Similarly, here in this case, if agent has to be successful, we need to have certain guardrails, right? Apart from guardrails, we should also implement what is called as CWD, creator, worker, and delegator. These have to be implemented along with the human in loop, right? If that is not being done, agents will not be successful at all. What do you think, Prakash?
Yeah, absolutely. Human in the loop is definitely important, given that we want to have control over the autonomy. Human in the loop is one very good way to have that in place.
I have a point for both of you, right? Can we enable every decision making by an agent, can we review it by human? Is it not a review fatigue?
No, that is not the thing. We should not be saying that every decision taken by the agent should be reviewed by a human. No, it is not the case.
Can I expand on that?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. The reason why I'm saying here is the agents are expected to be creative, adaptable, decision making, and you should be in a position to take their own decisions. That being said, how do we actually implement these using the data? Chief Data Officer will explain us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I would expand that human in the loop thing by proposing a graduated autonomy, meaning all the reason that we want to develop agents really is to automate, which means we need to bring human in the loop as less as possible. However, with 36,000 decisions made by humans, if they had to be replicated by agents and they are not evaluated properly, they are not monitored properly, autonomy can only lead to chaos and huge costs, not only in terms of the dollars that we talked about. There are humans who are impacted really, right? So human is at the center of autonomy, even if it doesn't feel so, because it is both humans that develop it, who can bring in biases and many other things to the agents, embed into them agents, and also if they go wrong, can impact humans. We talked about pharma. Nobody is ready to take medication that is provided by an agent, right? So we need to ensure that we build something very meaningful and also working as it should be. Also importantly, we talked about data, right? So on top of data, it is not about what data is going in and going out. It is really important for us to track the decisions. More than how much ever the data lineage is important, the decision lineage is equally important in the age of autonomic agents that we are going through. I propose one more layer on top of that. I would call them operationalization layer, wherein all these agents are orchestrated. The second one would be the evaluations, right? And the third one is the transparency, which would bring in all this lineage that I talked about. And the fourth, the AI control tower, which would enable all the data, all the decisions that are going through these 3 different layers. It would help the humans being impacted as well, not only the creators, but also importantly the people who are being impacted by the agents who are which are operating autonomously. They need to be able to understand why a decision, or rather in the age of agents, not just decisions but the actions are taken.
Thank you, Ashrith.
The earlier example of Marsh saying that, if agent decides that if it prescribes a particular medicine, will you use it? Now I'll add a simple trick to it. If a human doctor comes in place and says that, if agent says that a particular doctor has prescribed this medicine, will you use it? Yes, no. Earlier people were saying they will not use medicine if agent has prescribed it. Now agent will say that, to your problem, so-and-so doctor has prescribed this medicine. Will we use it or not?
Yes.
No, that is what happening these days, right? Every one of us are. Huh. I'll tell you one thing. These days what happens is, when let us say that we'll go to a diagnostic center, we get all the CPP done, kidney done, everything done, and we'll take those reports and put it into ChatGPT and say, please tell me what is happening and can you prescribe something? Just go ahead and see, ChatGPT describes everything in detail, and it also prescribes certain medicines saying that you can use this, with a line at the end saying that, please consult the doctor.
Time check, please.
So what happens here is, if the agents are allowed without any guardrails, without any human loop, then our use case will become a use case for others to discuss. Is it not?
Sure.
Right?
So thanks, Ramana. So in essence, what you have seen is that when you are trying to build an agentic system, you need to ensure that the action performed by the agents are traceable, explainable, and there should be somebody who should own the actions performed by the agents. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks,
all.
everyone.